Greg, I got to be honest. I saw Shine for the first time after his diet, and he did look tremendous.
Thank you, Brett. I
actually got to give him a lot of credit because people work hard to go through their diets, and Shine looks tremendous. So I do have to give him a lot of credit. He looks great.
I just kid the kid every once in a while.
Yeah.
And he did it without Ozempic.
Brett, did you catch Wiggy's?
He looks great.
Did you catch Wiggy's?
I did. Yeah. I heard Shine and I heard Wiggy. I think it's a combination. I think their leads are a combination of both. I think I would say that the players are not performing. They've blown 5 saves in 4 games since returning from the All-Star break. That's tough to do. So I would say that, yes, the players aren't performing, but I would also say they need an upgrade in some of the talent on the team. So I would just combine the two of them. So
aren't you nervous that this little run here in the wrong direction gives John Henry an excuse when it comes to not investing?
Yes. Yeah, I do. And that would be, again, though, see, the thing I think they're trying to avoid, that would be like 3 years in a row or 3 of the last 4 years in a row doing the same exact thing, right? So the one year that they did invest was the year that they made a pretty good run. They got Kyle Schwarber, and they picked up a couple nice pieces, and they made a little run, and they brought some excitement back. And I think the time is now that they can certainly capture the excitement of the town. There's really not going a lot. I don't think there's much excitement with the Patriots in training camp. So I honestly think they could capture that magic. I don't think it takes a lot. They're $12.5 million under that luxury tax, right? That CBT. So they can bring on money and stay under that. They can bring on talent. I think we all know what they need. It's just a matter of whether they're going to commit the resources to doing it. So, and I don't think the resources are money.
Isn't it frustrating, Brett, that literally every other year with this ownership group, a little bit of a losing streak before the deadline would actually be more of an impetus to do something instead of less?
It's the most frustrating. It's the most frustrating because all they need to do, I mean, like Shine said, you should go the other way, right? You should be trying to explore. I mean, we're 8 days away from the trading deadline. You should try to be exploring every opportunity to help put players back into the program to make your team better. You know what I mean? It's like they're looking for reasons to not invest, which is as a fan, it's frustrating. Where you should be going the exact opposite way. There are guys that are getting DFA. There are guys out there on the trade market. Be aggressive. Your farm system is great for a reason. So go out and invest. Go out and invest capital to bring in players who you think can upgrade your team. It's the most frustrating, Curtis. Because you can go the other way.
When it comes to DFAs, would you take a flyer on Paxton?
I mean, yeah, you should. You can. It depends, Greg. It depends what their overall goal is. They have $12.5 million. So Paxton counts 2.5 of that if you do that. Okay? So it just depends. It's a big puzzle piece. To stay underneath that CBT, it's a big puzzle piece. You're $12.5 million under. Bringing on Paxton. So if you think that Paxton can help you, and maybe Andrew Bailey can bring him back a little bit. If you think that Paxton can help you, then sure. That'll count $2.5 million under your CBT. That leaves you with 10. So it doesn't leave you a lot of room for an impact right-handed bat if you're going to do that. It doesn't leave you a lot of room for another starter or mostly relief pitchers don't cost any money, just prospect capital. So I think they could do that. But I would be exploring every option. I would be exploring the bullpen options as of right now. With their 2 back-end Slayton guy and Chris Martin are both out, and obviously your closer can't go to Colorado. So you're literally 3 impact arms out right now. So why not go out and try to bring in a bullpen?
Curtis wants Turner back again.
No, he's not very good. I mean, he's kind of what you need. He's kind of what you need. You need a right-handed bat. He's just not. He hasn't been playing very well. So I keep saying I think the kid from L.A. is a better option for him. The Luis Renifo kid I think is a better option. I think he fits the Red Sox team better. Yoshida's killing them because Yoshida's not providing any impact for their team. So he's strictly a DH, and he can't hit lefties, and he's just not providing any impact. So he's got a big contract. I think that's a mistake of a contract. It shouldn't matter, but it does with this current ownership, and he's killing them. You know what I mean? So Turner would come in and at least give him a better option, but They're facing another lefty tonight. They've lost 4 in a row. Cora, just before the All-Star break, Cora just went on a rant about how he doesn't think this team can go through a long losing streak. Well, they come out of the gate and they lost 4 in a row, and they're facing another lefty tonight, and that's been their kryptonite. So,
Well, Brett, I think that's the issue. When you talked about the 2021 season, after the All-Star break, there was like a 10-game stretch basically before the trade deadline where they went 7-3. This is 3 years in a row that you're struggling right after the All-Star break. So I can understand where the front office and ownership is going, well, is it worth investing in a team?
They're struggling because they don't have the bodies.
So wait a second. Let me ask this question. Hold on, because Greg makes this. He jumps in and he does this. Where was the struggle without the bodies before the All-Star break? I didn't see this struggle before. Now all of a sudden, just because we're rolling into the trade deadline, the struggle now is because they don't have the bodies. But rolling into the All-Star break when they were playing pretty well, I didn't hear anybody going.
They quit.
I didn't hear anybody going when they were on like a little bit of a run.
Well,
they're winning because they don't have the bodies.
I would just say, to be fair, Kenley Jansen was not with the team last night.
No, I get that.
So that would be a body that wasn't there.
No, I get that. I understand that point.
But in general,
and they lost two. They've lost 2 impact back end arms. Chris Martin and Slayton are impact back end of the bullpen arms. So what happens is when you lose 2 guys like that, and then Kenley's out, now all of a sudden you have to put people in roles where they're not comfortable, right? And you've kind of seen that when you blow 5 saves in 4 games consecutive, that you're putting guys in spots where they're not comfortable. So
Kenley was there for the Dodgers, right?
I understand that, but Chris Martin and Slayton are good, right? So if you pull out 2 of those 4 games, or even one of those 3 games, it doesn't look quite so bad, right? Yeah. But when you lose 4 in the way that you do, then it kind of piles up. So if you had taken one against the Dodgers, win last night, it doesn't look quite so bad.
Right.
It's like
if you win one of those games against the Dodgers, it doesn't look quite so bad.
It's like poutine without the cheese curds, right, Chime?
Not low-fat cheese curds.
All right, Brett, you're the best.
See you, Brett.
Baseball,
Thanks,
Brett.
guys.
Baseball,
Bye, guys.
Brett. Yeah, there's you have somewhat of a point, which is that this is happening now very frequently, where the All-Star break arrives and then they fall apart.
Right.
So,
but they didn't fall apart after the All-Star break last year. Going into the trade deadline, from between the All-Star break and the trade deadline last year, they were 8-6.
Oh, yeah, they were 5-4 through 9 games, right? So that's 1 game above 500. The year prior,
that's not falling apart though.
But the year prior to that, they were 2-7. So that 9-10 game stretch, other than 2021, if you look at that, other than 2021, they had a 10-game stretch right before the All-Star break where they went 7-3. So this team coming into the season has already played above expectations. My point is if they continue to keep up what we see in the first half, right after the All-Star break and before the trade deadline, then I think the team is backed into a corner.
And during that 9-game stretch, Shime, who was asking for them to add? The players and Alex Cora. That entire time. That whole stretch where they were performing pretty well.
Right, Devers was out.
They were all begging for more help, and then when they didn't, that's when they fell apart. So whether it was right before the trade deadline or right after, the result was still the same.
Yeah, but if they added before the trade deadline, like the players were asking, the result would have been different post-trade deadline.
Correct. But then Alex Cora should make sure that those guys are still in the right headspace moving forward, even if they don't get what they want.
They are. I don't think the last 4 games are a result of them falling apart. Like, it's just like the bullpen is strung out, and they went into extra innings twice. They had the lead in both of those games in extra innings and ended up losing because the bullpen is clearly gassed. They also, in Colorado, don't have Kenley Jansen. They need another body.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. But
did you have that gas after?
I was waiting for.
All right. We're at Granite Links. A beautiful day for golf. Honestly, I prefer this because no humidity.
It's great. It's really great. And is there anything better than fart jokes? Like,
no,
they just
really.
always hit.
Well, I think fatheads are funnier.
Oh, well, let me tell you, that guy looks like he's full of gas.
We need we have the official Numbnuts fathead here. which will be out on the range later. We'll send Wiggy out there at 9:30 and see if he can drive it right into the right between the eyes of the Curtis Fathead.
All right.
That is a good-looking man.
That
And maybe
is
we'll
a good-looking guy.
maybe we'll auction this off later on if there's
Curtis signs it too. That thing's going to be worth a lot of money.
All that money for BC tuition, guys, it really paid off.
might be somebody who wants to sleep with this every night.
I mean,
Can you blame him?
do we have the sight impaired here?
All right.